stuff and never told us. So that's not good. So I used to, and I still like the guy. I think he's caught between a rock and a hard place. He does like the employees, and he does work for the employees, and stuff like that. But he's still got the restrictions of budget and everything else, and the employees don't understand that part of it. I always said, when we go to negotiate, you can't ask for the sun and the moon. I said, if we want to do this right, it's a two-way street. We got to realize that. You got to ask what you think they can give.
And you've got to look at the industry. You've got to look at where everybody else is.
Exactly.
Because how do we pull away from ammo to go there? How do we pull? And I'm going to use Myron. How do we pull people from Myron or C.D. Smith or whoever to come here?
Right.
You all have the same benefits. So let's take that out of the mix. But you can let Luke know. I know I seen him at plant because I remember the name. And I've been the BA out there since I left, so I know I had to run into him at some point. But you can tell him that there was a huge improvement.
All right, I would like to call the June 2022 meeting of the Manitowoc County Board to order. Our first item of business is invocation by Supervisor Klein, and he will then lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Dear Lord, we ask your blessing on this work before us. Bless our efforts with clarity, our deliberations with wisdom and accuracy, and our decisions with impartiality. Help us, Lord, to represent all members of our community fairly, working to promote our common good. May we be open to others' ideas and beliefs and respectful of our differences. In the name of Jesus Christ we pray. Amen. If you'll join me, the flag's in the back. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you, Supervisor Klein. Roll call should be going around. We have 23 members present. Supervisors Benke and Baumann are excused. First, we have consideration and correction, if there are any, to the minutes of our last meeting on May 17th. If there are no corrections, I'd be looking for a motion to approve the minutes. Motion by Supervisor Vogt, second by Supervisor Engelbrecht. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, it's unanimous. Any additions or deletions to the agenda? No, thank you. Then we will be having some reports from Jerry Neuser and Janelle and our Fairest of the Fair.
Hi, everybody. While Janelle gets the PowerPoint set up, this is an annual report. You'll be seeing me every June. I'm not the highlight. The highlight is the ice cream. But if you bear with me, we'll get through this. So we're here for the annual report for the Expo. The Expo Special Revenue Fund. Every month, the County Board receives the Finance Director's report on the Operations and Special Revenue Fund. I'm going to go through the activities to explain it to you because you probably have questions when you see it. First of all, it's made up of 4 separate activities. The first is the Expo activities, where we have rental revenues and event camping revenue. We have winter storage, and last year was higher than normal, So we were able to offset a lot of the annual expenses that are charged to that account, which are things like labor and utilities, and also operational supplies. While historically this is a negative account, the net loss for 2021 was lower than expected. The next activity is the county fair account, and the 2021 county fair was actually very successful, especially considering that we had rain, significant rain, 3 of the 5 days of the county fair, and we had to charge a lot of the repairs to the grounds after that from the vehicles rutting things up to this account. Even with all that, though, we still produced a modest profit. Then there's the Expo Maintenance and Improvements account. That's our capital account. This is an expense account only. We do have some revenues that may flow in if there's an insurance claim that we use for capital repairs. It does not include, though, the money that we garnered from the 2016 sale to the Meyer properties. We were a little bit over budget in that last year. And finally, there's the Ice Center account, and rental revenues from our contracts with the Ice Center user groups and from the dry floor events actually exceeded our expenses, and we were able to turn a modest profit. So those are the numbers for each. So as you can see, activities was, it's an expense account, so that's typically and always a credit number lower than expected. County fair, we made a modest profit. Expo capital, not including the money that is allocated from the Meyer land sale, was a small loss, and then we had a modest gain in the Ice Center account. So I'm happy to report that for 2021, the Expo Special Activity Fund did show a profit. And as many of the longer-serving county board members know, it's difficult to turn a profit. It's a difficult business. There's a reason the county took over the operations in 2005, because before that it was run by a private corporation, Expo Incorporated. And again, it's a difficult business. Across the state, you see many county fairgrounds and expos basically going out of business. So we work hard, and I think we have the ship in the right direction. Okay, this graph is shows what the county board has approved for capital spending out of that Expo land sale capital outlay. We took over operations back in 2005, and as you'll see, from 2005 through 2015, very little was spent. Basically just enough to take care of emergency repairs to the grounds. And that was done because by directive of the county board, no tax levy subsidy supports the facility. All they have to spend is what they make for rentals and events. So starting in 2016 with the sale and going through 2019, we were able to be very aggressive. As you can see how the spending accelerated. We had a lot of work to do, a lot of infrastructure, we had buildings to replace, and we hit it hard. And as you'll see also, by 2020, there was a significant decline in the spending because we got a lot of what we needed to get done right away. And now we're doing some more minor repairs, and we plan by 2025, which are the out years, at the end of the yellow bars there, to be done with spending from this account. And at that time, it's our expectation there'll still be over $1 million in this account, which will be basically an endowment fund for future generations' use. The next graph that we have shows the balance and the proceeds from the land sale fund. The black vertical line that you see is where the fund will be at the end of this year, of 2022, at just over $1.7 million in the fund. And there's two things that are significant about this graph. The first, again, you can see the significant spending and the aggressive spending we did early to get the grounds in shape. And the second is how it's leveled off. And again, at the end of 2025, our projection is there'll be about $1.1 million still in that fund. And I believe this is my last chart, and this pie chart shows how the proceeds from the land sale money has been spent. This is from 2016 to 2021, and this is the money again that we got from the Meyer land sale. First, I'd like you to notice the largest piece of the pie, and that's the remaining balance in light blue. And so far we spent about $2.7 million of the $4.5 million, and at the end of 2021, 21, which we're looking at there. There's about $1.7 million left in that remaining balance. The next area where we've done the most work is in site work. That's in purple up there. About $1.4 million we've spent investing in the creation of the new east and west parking lots, the new east main gate, the creation of the new pulling track and special entertainment area, road reconstruction throughout the grounds with asphalt replacement, the purchase of new permanent bleachers for special entertainment area, and the replacement of most of the site fencing on the grounds. The next area in green is replacement of existing buildings. And since 2016, we've constructed a brand new state-of-the-art dairy cattle barn with covered wash racks, a new multi-purpose building, which was co-sponsored by Horserama. And I should also mention Dairy Cattle Barn, a generous help from many sponsors, including CP Feeds. We have new ticket booths at all the gates and a new announcing building in the pulling track and grandstand area. The next area I'll bring to your attention in red is infrastructure. We've spent about $311,000 there, which includes repair and replacement of underground water and sewer laterals, new electrical services and lighting systems, and HVAC equipment for buildings. The last area is building improvements, and that's in dark blue, and there we've spent about $315,000. We've had various roof replacements on buildings in the grounds. We've re-sided 2 of the horse barns. We replaced exit doors in the Ice Center, Merchants Building, Exhibition Building, Milk Parlor, and put new overhead doors in the Lester's Building. We've added handicap door openers to the Merchants Building and Ice Center. We've replaced the wireless access points on the grounds for better Wi-Fi coverage, and we purchased many new animal pens for use during Fair Week. So unless there's questions on any of the financial accounts, I'll turn the presentation over to Tess and Janelle. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Tess Holm, the 2022 Manitowoc County Fairest of the Fair. I graduated from Howards Grove High School just a couple weeks ago, and I am going to LTC for my associate's degree for early childhood education. So that's just a little bit about me. I'd like to take a second to invite you guys all to come out to the fair August 24th through the 28th for Summer Nights and Carnival Lights. We have fantastic grandstand entertainment like our truck and tractor pull. We have some super fun music like the Glam Band, which is one of my favorites. Carnival rides, a whole bunch of stuff for just $10. So please come on out.
Hi, everybody. Just like Tess said, August 24th through the 28th is our Manitowoc County Fair, and it's Summer Nights and Carnival Lights. That's the theme for this year's fair. And if you may have seen on the back table, we do have an events listing. It's kind of concise. It's a little bit smaller. That's our pocket card because those are the things that we knew as of when we were creating it. But you'll be able to take a look, go through it, see what events that we're hosting for the week of fair. I want to highlight a few things that we're having this year that are pretty exciting for me. Saturday from 9 to noon, we're having the Women's Day event. And this Women's Day event actually is going to benefit and support Peter's Pantry, the homeless in Manitowoc County, and the Foster's Family Program. So I'm really excited about the Foster's Family Program because with the money that we received as a sponsorship from Community First Credit Union, they donated money, and from that money we're able to give tickets to the Foster's Family Program. So that allows them admission in to the grounds and to something that maybe they wouldn't have been able to come to otherwise. We're going to have raffle prizes. We've had great support from the community for this program. So if you come on out, you come out 9 to noon, you get a free tote for the first 200 people that come out. And even though I'm saying Women's Day event, I'm seeing Jim over here saying, wait a minute, is it for men too? Yes, it is. It's all for everybody that wants to come out. We actually are getting either a recliner or a dishwasher. Bitter Newman hasn't decided yet, but they're going to be donating that as one of the raffle prizes. So you can come on out, enjoy the day, and again, that's one of the highlights. The fireworks we have on Wednesday, that's August 24th. That's going to be at 9 p.m. So on that day, you'll come out. We're going to have a parade, just like what we've done in the past few years. Come out, see the fireworks, and we're so lucky again. Larry's Distributing is one of our major supporters for that, as well as Nextera, the Anthill Mob. Our Fireworks Country also is supporting it. So it's going to be, as I always say, the best fireworks in Manitowoc County, but I might be just a smidge partial. So come on out for that. And that opening day is sponsored by C. Hafer News. And then we have Community First Credit Union that also did the Women's Day event, but they're also our Friday sponsor. And then you'll see that Meyer is also a sponsor on Saturday. So we have our truck and tractor pull on Saturday. Actually, it got moved to 5 p.m. We have our tractor pull on Friday, and then our demo derby on Sunday. So that's just some highlights for you to come on out and see the Manitowoc County Fair. These are our 21 board members, and you can see Tess is presented in the middle there, but we're really fortunate to have these 21 board members. They come out each month to do meetings, to talk about the county fair, and it starts right after August. September, we usually start meeting. We talk about theme, colors for the next year's fair, and without their support, we probably would have a little bit less to be able to do and provide for you, because they're working on Ag Adventure Land, which you'll see on the north side of our Merchants Building bathrooms. We have some educational material for that. They're spearheading with the Women's Day event. They take care of a lot of the activities that you see on the grounds. So the 21 board members, we've got quite a few. I know Ken is here today, or Supervisor Sitkowitz, I'm sorry. But we have quite a few members. Kevin Banky is also a board member, so we're very appreciative of the work that they do. And I had talked a little bit about some of our sponsors. This year is a big year for us. With cash and in kind, this is the biggest year we've had of over $80,000. So that's a big, I guess I'm just pretty excited about the fact that we've got so much support from the community, and a lot of people that are even still, I had another phone call asking how they can get involved. So our bigger ones, as you can see, C. Hafer News, Community First Credit Union, Meyer. Meyer has been a very big support. If you've been out to the grounds, we have 2 digital signs, one that's at the Merchants Gate entrance and the other one that's at the Ice Center entrance. They were support for that. We also have Coca-Cola, Larry's Distributing, like I had already talked about, AmeriCollect. So just to name a few of those people that are supportive of what we do at the Expo grounds. But again, a big dollar amount that we've raised this year. And then I have this for you.
Where can you go to get unlimited carnival rides, fantastic grandstand entertainment, sea lion shows, live music, and more for just a $10 daily admission? You guessed it. You can get this and more at this year's Manitowoc County Fair. I'm Tess Salm, your 2022 Manitowoc County Fairest of the Fair. And now is the time to make plans to attend this year's fair, August 24th through the 28th. Don't miss all the fun of summer nights and carnival lights.
So that is just one of the, oops, I'm sorry. I'm going to listen to it again.
Go to get unlimited
Why is it
carnival
going?
rides, fantastic grandstand
All
entertainment.
right, escape, escape, there. Sorry about that. Well, I had another slide, but that's okay. That's one of the ads that'll be ran. There's 4 of them that we'll have, 2 of them that'll go into fair, the one during the week of fair, and then one we're going to have after fair. So Tess was our voice again, just like we've had with other fairs to the fairs. And I guess with that, if you have any questions for me, please let me know right now. Yes?
When's the next fair to the fair?
Thank you for asking. It's actually August 27th, and that'll be at 5 o'clock. Tess will be there to host it along with some of the other board members, And then anybody that is interested in applying, we're taking applications through August 1st. You can do that online. And any of the information that I've talked about today with events, you can go to our website at fair.manitowoccountywi.gov, and that's where the application information is on what we're looking for in an applicant, as well as the deadline, and as well as what you can expect with a 30-second ad, the speaking engagements that you would be required to do, what you would get in the end of being the ambassador, the official ambassador, if you were so lucky to be crowned. Anyone can be a contestant. We're looking, typically what we're looking for, yes, you can too over here, but what we're looking for is that they're 18 by the time of the following year, so they'd have to be 18 by 2024. But we're looking for men or women that are interested, young ladies, young men that are interested in seeking this, and it can be an older person as well. So we're just looking for somebody that has the spirit of the Manitowoc County Fair and looking at wanting to promote it and, again, be the official ambassador. Any other questions? Nope? Okay. Well, with that, thank you.
Thank you. And I think it's important, too, that we recognize all the work you're doing, not just the county fair, but the expo is really a 365-day operation, and it's incredible to see what it has become, such an asset to our community, and it's because we have a great team out there, so thank you. And Supervisor Terrell, it seems like you are all clear to compete, if you're interested. With that, we will take public comments. So if there's any members of the community who wish to speak, are there any members of the community who wish to speak? All right. Yes, you may come up. Ms. Yost.
Chip Yost, Centerville. I continue to advocate for a half cent on a dollar spent countywide sales tax. Enacting this tax will lower property taxes because the revenue must be used, as County Executive Ziegelbauer explained, quoting, "Property tax owners will benefit the most because state law dictates that the sales tax revenue be applied to projects funded by property taxes." In 2018, I recognized that the haste to liquidate the county's Hecker-Vebon property in an unsolicited purchase offer from a local farmer without a current appraisal. I alerted the Public Works Committee and the county board, and ultimately the county received $300,000 more in revenue from the sale. In a pre-election article in the Valders Journal, County Executive Ziegelbauer, quoting him, refuted this. She was not involved in that, as he quoted. The misstatements that County Executive Ziegelbauer made about me, that I was, quote, not involved in sounding the alert, are disproven by HTR articles. I also said that debt financing is very expensive because paying 0.5% today is far less expensive than paying compounding interest, currently 4%, our highest rate to borrow money over years. Now the interest rates are rising. It's more critical than ever that we carefully and diligently that we remain carefully and diligently informed about our county's finances. Truth is our shared value as we depend on each other's words to guide our actions. On October 12, 2021, Ziegelbauer reported a 2021 general fund revenue loss to the county board of $1.7 million under the American Rescue Plan funds, the ARPA funds. On March 8th, 2022, Ziegelbauer reported a surplus in the general fund of $1.3 million to the Finance Committee for 2021. And so I continue to advocate for a half-cent on a dollar spent county-wide sales tax, as the borrower is slave to the lender. Proverbs 22:17. Thank you.
Yost? Are there any other members of the community who would like to speak? Anybody else would like to speak? And for a third and final time, is there anybody who would like to speak? All right, then I will close public comment. Next, we have communications. There are none. We have no unfinished business. That'll take us to appointments by the county executive. First, we have an appointment for our Soil and Water Conservation Director. The appointment is for Dave Wettenkamp. I'd be looking for a motion. Motion from Supervisor Marsh, second from Supervisor Mink. Is there any discussion? All right, seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Congratulations, Dave. And Dave is here, so if you'd be interested in coming up and introducing yourself and saying a few words, I'm sure we would all appreciate it.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for being here. County board members, ladies and gentlemen, thanks standing committee members of the Land Conservation Committee. I'm privileged and honored to accept the position. I worked with Chris Eisenschink and Executive Ziegelbauer, and they got me to this point, and it's been a rewarding journey so far in my life. I'm a resident of Manitowoc County. I was born and raised in Manitowoc County at Homely Family. A lot of my family members around here, I live in town of Cooperstown. I actually attended school in Two Rivers, graduated from Northern Wisconsin High School in Leona, but then moved back here, attended at UW Center, Manitowoc, and got my associate's degree there. And then I moved on to UW Stevens Point and received my bachelor's degree there. After that, I soon worked for Brown County, hired for the Park Department for a year, and then I've been with the Land and Water Conservation Department for 28 years. And I saw this opportunity come up. It's kind of, you don't see these director positions open up very much in the conservation field. And I know I've known Jerry for many years, and he's done great work. He's been in this business for 43 years, and I don't know if I'll be able to accomplish what he's done, but I'm going to try to do my best for you all, for the citizens of Manitowoc, for the water quality, the soil, air, that kind of thing. So just pleased to be here, and I think it's a great opportunity for me and for the young people that are hired at the Soil and Water Department. So if anybody has any questions, I'd be happy to field any questions.
Thank you, and congratulations. Okay, next up, we have an appointment for the Board of Adjustment for a 3-year term. The appointment is for Kenneth Schuler. I'd be looking for a motion. Supervisor Niles, second by Supervisor Hanson. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Next, we're looking at 2 appointments for the Joint Dispatch Board. The nominations are for David Funkhauser and Brian Kohlmeyer. I'd be looking for a motion. Motion by Supervisor Falkowski, second by Supervisor Phipps. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Next, we're looking at appointments for the Northeast Wisconsin Regional Economic Partnership. For a 1-year term, the appointment is for Jamie Zastro, with Elizabeth Runge, I apologize if I mispronounced your name, and Adam Teagan as alternates. Any discussion? All right, I'll be looking for a motion. Supervisor vote and a second. Supervisor Heller. Now is there any discussion? All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. And last, we have an appointment for the Planning and Park Commission. The appointment is for David Koronick. I'll be looking for a motion. Supervisor Zimmer, seconded by Supervisor Menk. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Got all that? All right, awesome. Then we're on to our committee reports. First is our Planning and Park Commission. Supervisor Falkowski, are you prepared for the report? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Planning and Park Commission meeting was May 23rd. The committee conducted their procedural action to approve the agenda, including prior minutes, and to hear any public comment. Public comment was given by Sam Blank, T&T Professional Land Surveyors, about the McHugh Brothers rezone request. On our docket that day, we had 2 public hearings for a rezone request. The first was Larry Kruger, a rezone from exclusive ag to rural residential. It had been vetted by the planning staff, and we heard testimony from Mr. Kruger, the principal party at the hearing, and the commissioners' questions were answered to their satisfaction. We had other testimonies from neighboring property owners that spoke with concern about allowing multiple 1-acre lots. The neighboring property owners also wrote a letter with concern, also entered into the record. The town of Maple Grove filed official written support for the rezone, and it was entered into the record as well. After discussion, the commission approved the rezone request on the basis that the property's topographic features are being hilly and wet, and also adjacent to a wooded area. In addition, there is a high power line that runs across Lot 2. Therefore, I so move to submit Ordinance 2022-2023-10, amending the zoning map for Larry Kruger.
Thank you, Supervisor Falkowski. We have a motion and a second by Supervisor Zimmer. Is there any discussion? Then you'll conduct the vote. All right. Then the clerk will conduct the vote for us.
Supervisors will now vote on the ordinance amending zoning map for Larry Krieger.
Motion carried unanimously.
Our next hearing was for the McHugh Brothers Holding LLC, a large estate to rural residential rezone. We had discussion about the request criteria for the change. It had also been vetted by the planning staff. Mr. Blank from the T&T Professional Land Surveyors testified and answered questions for the commission. Mr. Blank also stated they would like to modify the request from rural residential to small estate. In addition, the town of Two Creeks documents were entered into the record stating they are in favor of the modified request with written support for the rezone. The commission voted to pass the rezone request onto the county board. Therefore, I so move to submit ordinance 2022-2023-11, amending the zoning map for McHugh Brothers Holding LLC.
We have a motion. Is there a second? Supervisor Engelbrecht, any discussion? All right, seeing no discussion, the clerk will conduct the vote.
Supervisors will now vote on the ordinance amending zoning map for McHugh Brothers Holding LLC.
Ordinance is adopted.
To you were a variance request from BNR and L&E Properties, which was a variance request regarding road frontage. We examined the survey documents and the maps, and after discussion, the variance was approved. Next up, Following the protocols to review and discuss sanitation ordinance violations, an individual tenant spoke and answered the questions for the commissioners, and after a good and reasonable discussion, it was forwarded to the corporate council for enforcement. To wrap up my report, we had discussion and possible actions to accept a coastal management program grant for the update of the Manitowoc County Park and Open Space Plan. The commission was also briefed on the current park projects, highlighting Wallahai and the Lower Cato Falls Park, and also the new pier, lake piers at English, Pigeon, and Wilkie. Our next tentative meeting schedule date is Monday, June 27th, and check your meeting notices in your emails. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is my end of my report.
Thank you, Supervisor Falkowski. Next, we have the Aging and Disability Board, Supervisor Wagner.
The ADRC is looking for volunteers for home-delivered meals, so if anybody is watching this or even here in this board, you can contact the ADRC. The Walk to End Alzheimer's is September 17th at the Manitowoc Two Rivers YMCA. And the next meeting will be July 26th in Kewaunee County at 10 o'clock. That's the end of my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Wagner. Next is Board of Health, Supervisor Metzger.
Report, and we will be meeting July 14th. Unless if there's not enough for the agenda, then it will be canceled. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Supervisor Metzger. Next, we have the Criminal Justice Coordinating Council, Supervisor Falkowski.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening. The meeting of the Manitowoc County Criminal Justice Coordinating Council was June 1st. There was an announcement that Major Joy Brexis had retired and that Sergeant Andrew Lacrosse will be promoted, becoming the jail administrator. The drug court update, there were 12 participants and another 3 had been accepted. Info from the Wisconsin Association of Treatment Court Providers Conference will be applied to our program. Once again, it was confirmed that our partnership and the use of resources through a wide range of providers has contributed to our program's success. A question raised about the ongoing needs for the drug court, and this was because of the low aggregated participant figures, and it was addressed between the COVID plus the staff transition. That is what attributed to the lower numbers. Some programs take participants with lower needs, which increase the enrollment, but we do not. There are more applicants for the programs and anticipate more growth. Another discussion was about victims' needs, particularly victims of domestic violence, considering the intersectionality with the substance abuse. Law enforcement observed that the safety of children are at risk due to when the parents are using or abusing substances. A suggestion for expanding awareness of the local services that are available could be more visible. Another thought is that a family treatment court could be applicable even before a mental health court would be developed. And finally, a council vacancy is to be filled from the County Bar Association, and this will be submitted from the association after their next formal meeting. The next CJCC meeting is scheduled for September 7th. Thank you, and that is my report.
Thank you, Supervisor Falkowski. I have nothing to report from the Executive Committee. That'll take us to the Expo Ice Center Board. Supervisor Sikowitz.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Expo working groups have been meeting regularly in preparation for the county fair, which is August 24th to the 28th, tagged Summer Nights and Carnival Lights this year. The Expo also hosted a circus a few weeks ago and has had other private parties using our facilities for events. The fairest of the fair, Tess Salon, attended the Breakfast on the Farm June 12th, hosted by the Grotegut Dairy Farm in Newton. Also, for those of you who don't know, the Expo operates seasonal camping and currently have a number of campers at the grounds. So if you know anybody looking for camping, the other places are filled, send them there. That concludes my report. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All right, thank you. Finance Committee, Supervisor Hanson.
Chair, we had a short meeting tonight before the county board meeting.
we don't like to meet unless we have to. And for that reason, we got a short report from the executive about the ARPA funds, and that is moving along and moving forward. The reason we had to meet was a resolution that's before us tonight denying a claim. County Auto was involved in an accident, and it's protocol for us to deny this claim as we go through the negotiations. So I so move for the resolution, deny the claim.
Motion and a second by Supervisor Bry to deny the claim, and the clerk will conduct the vote. Any discussion? All right, and the clerk will conduct the vote.
Supervisors will now vote on the resolution denying the claim, State Farm Mutual Automobile Insurance Company and Lori Titus.
Carried unanimously. Anything else, Supervisor Hanson?
Mr. Chair?
Thank you. That will take us to the Highway Committee. Supervisor Giroux.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The Highway Committee met June 14th. We elected Supervisor Giroux as Vice Chair and Supervisor Engelbrecht as Secretary. We approved a driveway access on County Trunk Highway B for Matt and Nicole Spavacek, or if you're from northern Manitowoc County, Spivacek. We heard that the fly-in swap meet at the airport had a good turnout. We discussed a variety of asphalting projects and talked about some of the increased budget costs due to asphalt and fuel going up. We have a number of bridge projects that we discussed that will be going on later this summer. Also the salt bids. We got a surcharge on one of our truck orders, which was kind of a take it or leave it thing, so we had to take it. We discussed 2 additional personnel for the next budget for highway. We looked at the overtime report, approved the vouchers, and the next meeting will be July 12th. And that concludes my report, Mr. Chair.
Supervisor Giroux. Next, we have our Human Services Board, Supervisor Bry.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We recently met Thursday, May 26th of this year as our first meeting of the new term. We had election of officers. I was elected chair. Vice chair was Supervisor Shimalonis, and former Supervisor Lori Burke was elected secretary of the Human Services Board. I don't have much else to report, but our next meeting will be this Thursday, June 22nd at 4:30 p.m. Note the time change. We'll be going to 4:30 p.m. at the Human Services Department meeting. That's all I have, Mr. Chair.
Supervisor Bry. Land Conservation Committee and UW Extension Education and Agriculture Committee. Supervisor
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Let's see, they discussed the department goals for the new members of the committee. Cheyenne Burke and Jerry Halverson gave a presentation on department priorities, county ordinances, agricultural performance standards, working lands initiatives, groundwater protection, surface water programming, soil health, and best management practices. He also informed us that there were applications from 3 staff positions which are currently accepted, including 2 resource conservationists, and of course our new director, Mr. Wetkamp. And our next meeting will be July 21st at 4:45 at the county office complex. Thank you.
Thank you for the report, Supervisor Wagner. Personnel Committee, we've got a couple of things coming from Supervisor Marsh.
The Personnel Committee met on June 7th. Chris Eisencheck, our personnel director, explained the decision band method of job evaluations. She did a wonderful job. And Chris, I'll be asking you to send out what you did for us. Send it to all the county board supervisors so they can see it. It was easy to understand, and it was a good presentation to remind us where we came from, how it was set up, and that it is still doing a very good job the way we have it set. Okay, going on, I will be bringing some ordinances up, but I just wanted to discuss them a little bit. The ordinances that regarding the employee policy handbook changes, section 4.08, section 8.02, section 12.02, and section 14.10 are all basically house cleaning for the employee policy manual. The other one is overtime, the section 18.02. This section provides overtime for only 3 specific emergency response teams. The Sheriff's Department has developed additional response teams, including drone and mobile field force. So the proposed to change the language is included additional authorized emergency response units to cover these and additional authorized units. So basically is there are more groups that will be able to get overtime now instead of just the original response team. Also, section 18.06, field training officer premium. This change is in response to a request from the sheriff that the field training officers receive the premium payment while providing current staff with required training. Okay, and also we talked about the County Code Section 5.06, elected official compensation change to county board. This was an addition that was put on under 5.06, elected official compensation 3A. It was added, if the salary for an elected official is below 85% of the wage band, an increase of no more than 5% will be added to that salary until the salary equals 85%. We had a busy meeting. We had a lot to talk about. Also, we authorized the approval to go above a midpoint if needed for the hiring of the new soil and water director. And I have it was brought up wondering how many times have we done this? How many times have we gone over midpoint? Because, we talk about it, not a lot, but we asked Chris to get this to us. So since 2018 up until June 1st, we have hired over midpoint only 7 times out of 260 hires. That's a percent of hires is 2.69 over that were hired over midpoint. So it does seem, because it's coming to us special. We hire a lot of other people that it never comes to that. So just wanted everybody to know that we do watch over that, and it is not done all that often. Okay, and more. We approved to waive the nepotism policy for a limited term employee in the Register of Probate Office. And also, I guess I will bring those ordinances up. I so move the ordinance 2022/2023-13, amending Manitowoc County Code 5.06. I so move.
A motion for the ordinance. Is there a second? Supervisor Hanson, any discussion on the ordinance? Seeing none, the clerk will conduct the vote.
Supervisors will now vote on the ordinance amending Manitowoc County Code, Section 5.06, elected official compensation.
Marsh. The ordinance is adopted. Supervisor Marsh, I believe you then have another resolution for us.
Yes, I do. And I will vote on this one right away, too. Resolution 2022/2023-14, amending the employee policy manual that I had discussed. I so move.
We have a motion on the resolution. Is there a second? Supervisor Lindsmeyer? Any discussion? Seeing none, the clerk will conduct the vote.
Supervisors will now vote on the resolution amending employee policies, sections 4.08, 8.01, 12.05, 14.09, 18.02, and 18.06.
You promised us. All right, the resolution is adopted. Thank you. Is there anything else you need to report, Supervisor Marsh?
See, there was so much here tonight. And I just wanted to welcome our new Soil and Water Director. I'm very happy that he already explained all his background, but I hear he has very strong ties to working with the agriculture community, and I'm very pleased about that. And our next meeting, Tuesday, July 5th at 4:15, and only if needed. And I believe that ends my report.
Thank you for the very detailed report, Supervisor Marsh. Next, we will go to Public Safety. Supervisor Falkowski.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Our committee met on June 8th after procedural actions for open meeting compliance and with no public comment, our agenda proceeded. It was noted in communications that the department budget printouts and summaries were sent to each member for review. The committee members were introduced to the sheriff, and we were introduced to the new personnel from the sheriff, Major Lacrosse and Lieutenant Valukas. We were briefed about the 3 divisions of the sheriff's office: operations, support, and jail. In operations, the patrol is fully staffed on June 13th, and this includes several newly authorized positions from the current and prior budget. The budget looks good, but the caveat is with the expected overage in fuel. There are some expansion and improvement projects forecasted: 1, expanding the evidence room, and 2, ongoing equipment and training with the drone team. In support, we currently are fully staffed. For the 2023 budget, there will be a request for 2 additional bailiff positions, this in light of the new approved Branch 4 court. This new courtroom in the courthouse will also include the existing B-15. Another fiscal point to note is that the involvement in warrants and extraditions can be very expensive, but some offset costs has been recovered by the reduction of transport for court, duly in part because of the use of Zoom and video conferencing for non-evidentiary hearings in criminal and also in the majority of civil confinement cases. With the jail division, this is the greatest area of staffing change. There are openings currently mainly from the various promotions and departures. The ordinary procedures for a candidate must undergo is a background check, psychological examination, and a physical examination and testing, followed with a 7 weeks of training with a subsequent 5-week training program to be completed before the 1-year anniversary. With jail operations, the food preparation activities have been partnered with the Meals on Wheels for helping residents, and it's been a very positive effect. We have expected nominal additional revenue from the housing of state inmates this year, and that's because the state prisons have reopened. There's an ongoing conversion of various electronic reports to increase efficiencies for corrections officers. There's a program to equip jails with Narcan, and this is needed because of the drugs affecting the inmates. The ARPA funds have also provided radio replacement units for the jail and for patrol. The UVC cleaners are delivering good results, expecting the sick leave to be reduced. UVC, I think, is an acronym, is ultraviolet contagion cleaner. It's kind of a tall device that they can move around from location to location, and it cleans the area, basically. It sanitizes it. The jail inspection was the subject of our meeting. We examined the remodeled visitation area equipped with corrections grade furnishing. The next big project will be refurbishing the elevator, which has been in use since the original construction 30 years ago. It will have its challenges affecting laundry and food services because they're going to have to use the stairs. Our inspection affirmed that the jail operation meets and in some areas exceeds criteria for the inspection. Our committee thanked the sheriff and the personnel who aided our inspection tour. Within department info, our squad cars had equipment upgrades, and it's useful because we're waiting for the new vehicles to be delivered, and you guessed it, it's because of the supply chain problem. With outreach community activities to report, this includes the DARE graduation, the Memorial Day parade, Cops and Bobbers, which is a fishing program with the officers and the children of big brothers and big sisters and children of the drug court participants. Also participating will be the Touch the Trucks program in July, as well as the county fair. You could watch for the event by Pause for Laws, which is a charitable organization which funds our canine program. Our next meeting is scheduled for July 13th. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. That's my report.
Supervisor Falkowski. We have our Public Works Committee. Supervisor Giroux is the chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Public Works met June 8th. We reviewed and discussed the solid waste and recycling division. Recycled products are kind of up from past history and are holding their own, so we're doing rather well there. Building and Grounds Supervisor Craig Bright reported on the capital projects for Buildings and Grounds Division. We approved the capital pay request for Schaus Mechanical for the courthouse air conditioning system. Director Neuser reported on the community development block grant projects, the park pavilions, and the piers. The park pavilions at Cato Falls and Walla High are open to the public, and the piers for English Lake, Pigeon Lake, and Wilkie Lake are in and working. And we approved pay requests for Joseph Schmidt Construction for the final payments for the pavilions, and to Pier and Waterfront Solutions for the piers. We approved a pay request for Greenwood project for the courthouse restroom remodeling project, and there's going to be a ribbon cutting ceremony on June 27th that I know you'll all want to make for see the new bathrooms. So we went over the American Rescue Plan Act projects. Our IS Director, Cody Berg, discussed our communication, or our information systems projects and activities. We discussed and reviewed the things going on at Expo and Ice Center, which we saw a little earlier this evening. And that concludes my report, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. Transportation Coordinating Committee, Supervisor Hacker.
This is a surprise.
Surprise.
We did meet, but I don't have a report. And our next meeting is
August 17th. All right, thank you, Supervisor Hacker. Last, we have a miscellaneous item from Supervisor Phipps.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. On May 11th, the town of Newton amended its zoning ordinance to rezone 2.9 acre parcel of property, Richard and Joanne Walk, from A3 Farmland Preserve District to A2 General Agricultural. So we're looking for resolution 2022 -2023-15, approval Town of Newton zoning ordinance amendment, Richard and Joanne Walk.
Supervisors will now vote on the resolution approving Town of Newton zoning ordinance amendment for Richard and Joan Walk.
Resolution is adopted. Anything else, Supervisor Phipps? All right, thank you. I have no announcements. It looks like Supervisor Giroux has an announcement for us.
My understanding is that we only have one person so far for the Fairest of the Fair competition. So if you know of anyone that you think might be interested, or somebody who might be good that's not interested and doesn't know about it, contact them and have them get a hold of Janelle, so make it interesting. Thank you.
Thank you for that reminder, Supervisor Giroux. Any other announcements? All right, seeing none, I'll look for a motion to adjourn. Supervisor Heller and Supervisor Marsh. Second.
Aye.
All those in favor?
Thank you. Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned.
You know, they should really